I had my friend this morning text me, and she flat out asked me, "Hey, how are you doing today? How is your anxiety today on a scale of 1 to 10?"
Yes, I love that.
And it was so helpful to me because I'm not going to bring it up to her. But if she brings it up to me and opens the door to let me talk about it, my goodness, it's helpful.
Yes.
And I think checking in on our people is so important.
It is. And needed.
Welcome to It's a Mental Thing, the podcast that dives deep into the power of the mind and the heart of mental health. Whether you're navigating life's challenges, seeking balance, or simply curious about how to care for your mind, you're in the right place. Each week, we explore stories, strategies, and expert insights to help you build resilience, find clarity, and embrace a healthier you. So take a deep breath and let's journey together toward a brighter, more mindful tomorrow. Welcome to It's a Mental Thing, because your mental health matters.
So, okay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You said if she wouldn't have asked you, how's your anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10, you probably wouldn't have opened up. Well, like, I think so many people are that way. Obviously, being a therapist, I'm the one that asks the questions too, because some people come to therapy and they either don't want to talk about what the problem is or they're not ready to. So when you said, I probably wouldn't have even opened up, why do you feel like that is?
For me, it's probably because I don't want to burden someone else with it. And also because it's so annoying to me. I don't want to be annoying to someone else.
Yeah. So your feelings of anxiety, it's like you hate it. It annoys you.
Oh, it's the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
It ticks me off.
But I think too, there is space for us to feel mad at our anxiety or our mental health disorder altogether. But we also have to remember that when we're mad at it, we're giving it energy too. I know, right? So like for me too, with anxiety and panic, I had to learn too, like I would be like, oh Lord, okay, please take this anxiety away from me. Please take this feeling away from me. But when I realized every time I was begging for these feelings to be taken away, right? Just take them away, vanish. I never want to feel them again. I was feeding that anxiety its fuel, because then all I'm thinking about is my anxiety. Then all I'm researching is anxiety. Then all I'm feeling is my anxiety because I'm giving all of that attention and energy to anxiety. So I'll tell patients, let's put your anxiety across the room today. Let's give your anxiety a name and say, like, I have a client who's named her anxiety Pickles. She named it Pickles because she can't stand pickles. So I was like, very smart. So I have a Squishmallow in my office that sits in the other chair that you don't sit in. Whatever chair you choose to sit in, this little big, fluffy, smiling, weird-looking Squishmallow sits in my office. And so we'll name that as far as your anxiety or your depression or your feelings. We're giving it a name because anxiety isn't us. It's this other thing, right? It's part of us. And she'll say, I'm going to name it Pickles because I can't stand pickles. I'm like, okay, well then Pickles is sitting over there today and not invited into this session.
I'll name mine Onions.
Onions. Can't stand onions. I named mine is silly. I work with kids. I work with adults. Bing Bong from the movie Inside Out. That's the imaginary friend. But it's a silly name. Anxiety can be silly. We think things, and I'm just like, that's it. You're not invited here today. I don't want you here today. So if we're giving it that energy, we're recognizing it and we're putting it to the side. So that gives us the power back.
You're right. And I think when I'm sitting there and when I say I'm not going, if she's checking in on me, I wouldn't have brought it up myself because you're right. I'm just feeding it. I'm feeding it by not talking about it. When I talk about it, I'm releasing it.
It's released. And you're giving it space to not control you, and you're giving it space to get out of you. And we act like this is some kind of like spiritual being living inside of us, but it's not. It's a chemical imbalance, which is why people go to therapy, which is why when I tell people to write it down, bullet point it, however you need to, it's so it can come out of here and get on paper, or so it can come out of here and we've told a friend.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is get it out, which is why checking in, what we've talked about, checking in with a friend or checking in with who we love is so important. So your friend is already a step ahead.
Yeah.
And when we check in, I think we need to talk about how important it is to check in on a friend's mental health. What you have to do and what you need to do and what we need to practice is being able to start gently by asking how they're doing, especially if we know it's a friend who has anxiety or who has panic disorder or who has depressive disorder. We're gently asking how they're doing and if they want to talk about anything. So we're opening up that door by checking in with them.
Yes.
And we also want to observe any changes in that person. So what we're looking for there is their behavior. Are they socially withdrawing? Are they isolating? Has there been changes in their sleep patterns, in their eating habits? And we want them to know, hey, I'm listening to you. Hey, I'm here for you. And I offer support without judgment.
Completely. Yeah.
And so your friends are already a step above doing that. And so many friends are afraid to do that because they don't want to step on toes.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, I have that friend who will just say, hey, how's it going? How's your week been? And it's almost like that cue of, what's she know? How does she know? You know?
Yeah.
But that's because friends know when to check in almost. Or if I've been silent, you know, or if I haven't had much to say.
Right.
I wouldn't say I'm withdrawing or isolated. Maybe I'm not even doing that intentional.
Right.
But that she knows, they know. And so we want to make sure that, and if we're that friend too, that's doing the check-in, we're doing this gently and we're wanting to support them with no judgment. But if they're not already seeing a therapist, we want to encourage them to seek professional help, especially if we've noticed those changes in behaviors. So when your friends are asking you, what do you notice? Like, does everybody kind of notice when things have shifted and they're all checking in with each other?
Yeah, I think
amazing.
I think we all see a shift, or like they just know what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
Like in the course of like 2 days, we had a truck completely die, a tree fell on our house, and just multiple other things that were happening around. So it's like they knew that all of that was pressing down on me.
Yeah.
And they're all checking in individually, not just like, hey, what are you doing today? But like, how are you today?
Yeah.
They're not going to let me.
Yeah.
And I have a friend too that I check in on that gives me a fine. Yes. Fine. I'm fine. And I will always say to her, how are you today? Do not say fine.
Yes.
I don't allow her to tell me fine.
Yeah.
So she has to give me more detail on that.
Right. I have patients that will come in. I sense it immediately when they walk in. I'm like, how's it going? How's your week been? It's been okay. And my straight up answer will be like, oh, great. So are we lying to me or are we lying to ourselves? So I'll ask that straight up and they'll just look at me because they know. I mean, these are patients I've worked with for years.
Yeah.
And I'm okay.
Yeah.
Is okay. Who are you lying to, me or yourself? Or are we lying to both? Because if they don't have me as someone who's just going to be there to say, look, I'm here to support you. This is your safe place to just dump that trash out. And let's talk about it. Because I like to say when we get into our heads, it's trash. You know, we want to empty that trash out and you've got to have that safe place to do so. And by checking in on our friends and our loved ones, that's our ability. That's our chance to give them the ability to get in and listen and hear us in a non-judgmental way.
And, you talked about doing it gently and stuff, which is important.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to be gentle, but I think depending on the, where you are in that friendship, in that relationship, like a little tough love is okay too.
Yeah. And I think, the gentle part is if you've got someone who's crucial and really critical going through something.
Sure.
Gently, you're going to be like, hey, are you okay today?
Yeah.
But like me, I'm not going to, a brand new patient. you think I'm going to look at them and be like, oh, all right, you're lying to me or
Me or
yourself?
yourself.
I'm not going to do that. Like, so let me set that record straight because I don't have any judgment.
Sure.
It's just truth. And so my patients, it breaks the ice, and some of them will look at me and they'll be like, both.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then let's talk about
I
it.
would, if you had said that to me, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like,
Let's
now
just
we're
do
here.
this.
Now
Yeah.
we're all, yeah.
It's like, look, and I am a therapist. I am a real person too, and I let my patients know that. I
Yeah.
am not about to sit over that desk and look at you and say, "How are you feeling this week?" And they say, "It's been okay." And I say, "Well, that sounds hard." Okay, then I've left them with, it is hard.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, we've got to be real. And that's why friends and checking in on our loved ones, we have to be real.
Yes.
But we also have to have that non-judgmental, gentle touch
Mhm.
where we can just get ourselves in there and then say, are you lying to me?
Right.
You know, straight up asking them. So I want to dive in to how to start these conversations.
Okay.
If that's okay with
Tell
you.
me
And
some.
you can kind of tell me if this is like some situations you've been into or if our audience is listening, maybe they needed to hear this. So they have a friend
Okay.
or a loved one that they need to talk to.
Okay. Give it to us.
How to start this conversation is we want to be direct and we want to be very specific. And so instead of in general, this is that friend where you can say, where she's like, I'm fine. We're going to be very
Mhm.
direct and very general. So instead of saying, how are you? We're going to try saying, I wrote this in quotes specifically for people to write down. I've noticed you haven't been yourself lately. Is everything okay?
I like
So
it.
that doesn't get that question right there. She can't say, fine.
Yeah.
You know, she can't say
she
that.
has to give
She
a
has to
different
give, there's a
answer.
different answer.
Okay.
So, or I've noticed you've been quieter than usual. Is there something going on that you want to talk about? So these are what we call in therapy land open-ended questions.
Mhm.
So I'm opening up a question that there's not a one answer to.
Right.
A
They-
one-word
They
answer.
have to
So you want
delve
to
a little
change
more.
your wording. We're
Okay.
very direct and we're being very specific of what we want to know.
I like it.
We want to show genuine concern. So we're genuinely concerned about what's going on with this person. So we're going to let them know that one, we're there for them and that we care about their well-being. Obviously, you know, with our friends, there's a different aspect to that than where there is a therapeutic rapport. I am very genuinely concerned about every patient in every form and fashion. But with my friends, if I've noticed those shifts and those changes in behaviors, I'm genuinely concerned, and these specific questions and these direct questions are going to come from me. Offering to listen without being judgmental, because like you said, like sometimes I just want to keep it to myself.
Yeah.
I don't think you feel like you're going to be judged, but sometimes we may, and that may be like even like an unconscious, subconscious, unintentional feeling, but
Mhm.
that's being human. You know, I don't want to state exactly how I feel because how's that going to come across?
Right.
And I think that's different for other people. But we want to, as the person who's asking these questions, we want to offer to listen without judgment. What that looks like is we're going to let them know that we are here to listen without offering any advice
Mm-hmm.
or trying to solve their problems.
Right.
Because that may not be what they need in
Right.
that moment. Sometimes the other person, just being heard is enough.
Right.
And I think that's when, you know, we take that, just sitting in the room, just being present is enough for that person. For me, there's times where the things I hear all day long, and that one friend, just being heard. I don't care if I'm driving home and I just talk about my day and all she does is listen. That's it. But I've been heard and that's all I needed.
Yeah.
Then I'm refreshed. I feel okay. I'm able to go start the next day.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's what people need. Again, we're checking in. We have to normalize checking in on our friends and our partners, but also checking in on the ones who are strong.
Right. Like your strong friends, because I'll tell you right now, I will put on the happiest face
Yes.
and be so bubbly
Right.
and outgoing. And on the inside, I can be just
Mhm.
like horrible.
Listen, I am I'm just trying to connect her audience here. I'm not a huge Swiftie. Now, I like Taylor Swift. I
like
respect her
Taylor Swift.
music. There's a part of her song of where she says, "I'm miserable and nobody even knows."
Yes.
Right? And I can do it with a
Yep.
broken heart.
Yep. Yes,
You know, that song
is very relatable.
And I think though, like at our age, she's our age-ish.
Mm-hmm.
We can relate to that because we're going to smile. We're going to do our points. We're going to step. We're going to do what we got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when she says, I'm miserable and nobody even knows,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so obsessed with him, but he ignores me. All those little things, like as an adult, like
Yeah.
14-year-olds, they're jamming out to it and singing
Sure.
it, but they're not living that life. The other parts of those songs where you can sit there and be like, she's on point,
Like,
right?
dead on.
She's on
Yeah.
point. But so many people live that life. I am miserable and nobody even knows,
Yeah.
which is so sad. But
Mhm,
when
it
she
is.
said that, it's like, this is a multi-millionaire celebrity. And maybe she's lived that life. Maybe it's just a nice little line in a song. I don't know.
Oh,
We may never know.
I bet she's lived that life.
Yeah. And so, but people in real world and real life are living that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have to check on your strong friends, just know they may be miserable and nobody even knows. So we have to remember that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying remember a Taylor Swift song, but that part right there, you have to remember.
Yeah.
So we want to share our observations with our friends, right? So when your friends are sharing the observations with you, they've noticed some things have shifted with you. And so we want to be that person that's going to share those observations with our friends or with our strong friends or with our partners or the people that we love. And what that looks like is if you've noticed changes in their lives and in their behaviors, we're going to share with them calmly and without accusation. For example, I've noticed you haven't been going to class lately. These are teenagers, obviously. Is everything all right? So if we're talking about a college kid who's just dropped off the face of the earth, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on? I've noticed you haven't been coming to work lately. You okay? I've noticed you've been coming into work and just shutting your door.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything okay? So when you're asking those things, we're observing that their
Right.
behaviors are changing. So people's behaviors don't just change. I am usually typically a bubbly, happy person. Now I can wear the mask of being a bubbly, happy person and be miserable and nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
But when my friend observes that and calls me out on it, I may break because all I needed was someone to call me out
Right.
on it.
Right.
Which is why it is so important that we make sure we normalize these check-ins. I just call them mental health check-ins. You know, it's so important to just check in with them. And we can be that person doing the check-in. Sometimes we're the person on the receiving end.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. So some changes to look out for, like we said, changes in mood and behavior, changes in their sleeping and eating patterns. You're obviously not going to notice their sleeping patterns unless you're living with them.
Right.
But like if you're going to lunch a lot, they're kind of nitpicking over their food or they're inhaling their food a little bit more. You're just slightly observing. No judgment. Loss of interest in activities. This is a lot of things that I notice in adolescence, young adulthood, increased substance use. Now, if you've got someone who's a smoker or a vapor or a drinker, if we're seeing that increase, that's a behavior we need to address.
Right.
We want to be an active listener. So an active listener is someone who is just sitting and listening. There is such a difference in listening actively than kind of just hearing them out.
You're right.
Because if you're actively listening, you know exactly what they're saying and you kind of know what to combat with and come back with and say to them. You want to reassure them, hey, you're not alone and you're okay and I've got you. And I would love to hear that, but I also want to be able to tell that to my patients always. And I also want to be able to tell that to the people I love.
Yeah.
Encourage them to seek, again, professional help. If they are in a place of behavioral changes, mental changes, we want to ask them to seek professional help. We never can neglect that part. That's a hard thing because some people do not want to hear that.
Right.
Some people do not want to hear, my friend thinks I need help. My friend thinks I'm crazy. But really, you're just looking to give them the best opportunity of life, you know, they can receive.
100%.
You want to offer practical help. So, hey, can I help you with these errands today? Can I help you with childcare today? Like all the stuff you've been through. When you've got your friends saying, hey, what can I do to help?
Right.
That's practical help that they can
Yep.
do to step in. So I wanted to go over these quick questions that people can listen to and ask.
Okay.
So again, we're normalizing checking in on our friends. How are you feeling today? Really?
Yes.
Just like what you
really.
said. There is a really here. So how are you feeling today?
Really.
You want to know,
Mhm.
not just how you're feeling today.
Yep.
Oh, I'm good.
Fine.
No, you want to say really. Physically and mentally. You want to add that. So that friend, amazing. What's taking up most of your headspace right now?
That is a good question.
Yeah, because that makes them think. They're either going to be like, what are you talking about? And then you can just be like, just curious.
Yeah.
What's taking up your headspace? What was your last full meal? And have you been drinking enough water? That seems so just a crazy question to ask. But a friend's going to be like, actually,
Look,
no.
it's not crazy because I have the one friend that's
Yes.
like, oh, how much water have you
I
drank
love
today?
it.
I'm like,
It's amazing. She's amazing.
and that's why I have
That's amazing.
this.
Yes.
I have an amazing
That is
friend.
amazing.
Yeah.
And she cares about you.
Yeah.
So grateful for that. How have you been sleeping? What have you been doing for exercise? What did you do today that made you feel good? So these are questions that you're wanting to ask people that are going to just give you those friends and those people you love when they get these texts. Maybe shocked at first, but they may need it. What's something you can do today that would be good for you? So you're giving them the option to say, let me think about this, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
answer you. What's something you're looking forward to in the next few days? For patients who, for me, are suicidal, self-harm, depressed, I always want to make sure they've got something to look forward to.
Mhm.
What's something that we can do together this week, even if we're apart? So what's something we can still do together,
Yeah.
whether it's text messages, whether it's sending a song, whether it's sending a devotion, whether it's sending a quote.
Funny
What's something
memes.
funny memes, amazing. What's something we can do together, even if we're not really together?
Yeah.
So that's giving them like, I've got this friend, I've got this person who really, truly cares about how I'm feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally. And the last one is, this one is my favorite. And I ask every patient this before they leave. Can you at least tell me one thing you're grateful for today? One thing you're
like
grateful
that.
for. Because it is so, so hard to be grateful and sad at the same time.
You're right. You're right. And it just shifts that mindset, takes it off of ourselves, takes it off of our anxiety, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And places it on something positive.
Right. And if you can sit there and think, you know what? I'm just grateful for the air in my lungs. Amazing. That gives you the opportunity to say something positive, even if it's in a negative situation, but they are grateful to be alive.
Yeah.
And for that friend to know that in that moment gives them that peace of mind that they're looking for, but also gives you the opportunity to have written that out or texted that or told them on the phone, I'm actually grateful to be alive.
Yeah.
And that be it.
So check in on your people. It's important.
Absolutely.
Be sure to follow our podcast on your favorite platform or find us on YouTube. Just a quick note. It's a Mental Thing is here to inform and inspire, but it's not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you're facing a mental health challenge, we encourage you to seek help from a licensed therapist like Erica or a healthcare provider.